This is Mick Foley.
Former WWE superstar Horns over here.
This is Dave LaGreca from Bustin' Open.
I am WWF's longest reigning light heavyweight champion, Gilbert, and you are now
somewhere in the ring.
Somewhere in the ring.
Somewhere in the ring.
Somewhere in the ring. Have a nice day.
I got notes.
You got notes? Thank you for coming prepared. And I'll just look. This is Somewhere in the Ring, a podcast where we talk about wrestling, pro wrestling, mostly WWE stuff. And this is a Backlash recap. I am Andrew Sanford, one of your normal hosts, and I am joined today by a very special guest, easily past the 5-timers club at this point, or this might be the you
gotta send me a jacket.
It will be denim. And you're welcome. Comic book writer, all around good guy, Joey Esposito. Hello.
Thanks for having me back. I'm pleased to be here. I didn't even know Backlash was happening until yesterday. I'd totally forgotten. And to be able to talk about it on the internet, even better.
Yeah. And it was a good one. Like, I'll hop out the gate. Like, I enjoyed every match. I'll even say that.
It was a solid show for sure. And like I said, I didn't realize it was happening, which means since Mania, I've been pretty behind. Things have been going on, haven't been watching week to week.
That's true.
So no investment in any of the stories that are happening, really, particularly these stories. But that being said, every match I thought did a good job of selling their stories.
Yes,
setting up some new stories, like without even having to have the context of everything that's come in the last month or so. So, particularly the first 4 matches, I would say.
Incredible. But yeah, I will. So that actually brings me. We are going to get into the matches. We'll do our little ratings and stuff like that. But I do have to ask 2 questions.
Yeah,
or I guess kind of 2 and maybe a follow up. One. Do you have any affinity or even nostalgia for Backlash as a PLE / pay-per-view?
No, they were like, this is the 20th Backlash. I was like, really? I like the idea I like the concept of they're sort of running back some WrestleMania things or closing some lingering threads from WrestleMania, which is typically what this is. I don't know that this one, aside from Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch, I feel like that was the only one that was really tied back to Mania in some important way.
Kind of, Damian and Drew.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but aside from that,
stuff is great.
Yeah, and same with the Jacob. That first match, the 4-way match, I think was because it was also Jacob against LA Knight at Mania.
You're right. Okay, I was being a dick, I guess, but
no,
as a pay-per-view brand.
Sure.
I think for me, and maybe it's just because I'm older, I guess, or, but it's really just the main ones are the ones that I have, Survivor Series, Mania, Rumble,
right.
SummerSlam. And there are certain ones that I enjoy, like Money in the Bank. I always enjoy. I like those ladder matches, but as a branding thing, I don't.
I always Money in the Bank started as a WrestleMania tradition, and I think spinning it off into its own pay-per-view was a mistake.
I think that's true of the Hell in the Cell pay-per-views, the Elimination Chamber. They
did TLC for a while, which why?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Why? That was
then again, what the hell does Fastlane mean? Remember Fastlane? So it's just I don't know. Just stick to the classics, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, I think there's a few. I was even because I think I put on a Backlash to fall asleep to the other night because I was oh, let me go
nice and relaxing.
I don't know what it is. There are certain sounds that I can lay down on the couch and just fall asleep to, and it's 80s space stuff and pro wrestling for some reason.
And Jerry the King Lawler,
black and white shows, and Jerry the King Lawler. Just being unhinged on but Yeah, so same, no real like preference for Backlash, and also like this snag with. I feel like WrestleMania should be like kind of a closed loop situation. There's
I
some
agree.
when it works carrying things over, but you're ending these feuds, these all this build up. Like it should be that's it.
That's like the season finale.
Yeah,
There should be.
So whenever you kind of try to like move on and do more of that at the next pay-per-view, it's diminishing returns almost always. I will say again tonight, I thought there was a lot that worked that carried over. But before we get into that second question,
yeah,
because I think you were working for our friends at Ringside at the time, ringsidecollectibles.com.
Yes.
So how much of the Randy Orton John Cena feud do you remember / did you like it?
Too much. No, that was. I'm gonna be upfront with you. I like them both a lot.
Mhm.
Obviously, you can't deny their impact, their careers, blah blah blah.
Right.
But it just reminded me, instead of like, because I was in my 20s at that point, like in
Mhm.
the late 2000s, right? When their like sort of peak
Mhm.
rivalry was
Yeah.
happening. I don't have nostalgia for it. My nostalgia comes from a longer period ago, like Attitude Era.
Sure.
And all this made me remember was how much I was so annoyed with how much they were fighting each other all the time and all the matches felt the same. And I was just like so sick of it.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like the best vibe for me going into like, especially in the last couple of years where they've like made new stars and there's all these like new things happening and new people, new faces. And just to like, I just felt like I got sucked back to 2009 and I was just like, Jesus, why? It felt so fresh for so long. And then even like Cena being heel and Orton getting cheered, just like, it's hard. And I will say, do you want to just start with the main event?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so like, I think the first half of it, I was like, oh boy, this feels like, I think it was SummerSlam 2008 or 2009. They had a match and it just like, if I had just woken up, like if I had fallen asleep and woken up, there would have been like a split second where I would have been like, oh shit, I am 24 again, And, but that being said, I think as it went on and like once it started all the schmozziness and that sort of thing, that I was much more engaged in the story part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a great affinity for that rivalry.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the video package of like them and OVW and stuff like that. But
yeah, that was fun.
I don't know. What about you? How do you feel about it?
I honestly I think I land on I have fonder memories of it side because that's when I was like going to school and I like some of my first friends at school were friends that we bonded over wrestling. That was like the easiest like shorthand. And so a lot of that was going on. That being said, around in the beginning of this match, I did start to go like, oh yeah, that's right. I got sick of this at a certain point.
Yeah, exactly.
It was also, I thought Michael Cole on fire tonight. Did an incredible job.
One of my notes in my notepad, give Cole an Emmy. Like, just on
great work
the entire night.
Yep. And doing a lot to like help understand certain things that were going on. And he, oh shoot, I said that and then I just lost my train of thought. He pointed out
Michael Cole.
Fawning over Michael Cole. He pointed out how Cena is older and in Hollywood shape. And Randy Orton, Randall Kenneth Orton, is built like a truck.
Dude, it's wild to me.
It's insane. He kept saying he's in the best shape of his life, and it's like, yeah, he is.
Especially like with all of the old footage that you saw throughout the night, and
he's like a little twink.
Yeah, like Cena like has basically always just been like action figure, stature, but Orton is like visibly bigger.
Yeah,
like,
now
like Drew
Cena
McIntyre
just has that
style.
Yes. And now Cena like looks like he has lost weight, and he's just got that like vein that looks like a telephone cord
Oh, dude,
that
I
goes.
can't. It's so distracting. It's so gnarly. It's so gnarly.
But I will say, like, once the ref started getting knocked out, and it became more about like, oh, let's just have this happen and that happen. It did start to pick up for me. But even still, I thought the ending was fine, and I will say I thought he was going to get like another challenger by the end.
Yeah, me too. It was weird because it ended.
Well, did you keep watching it all?
Yeah, like the credits came up and then it came back, and it was just him walking back to the ring, and then the poster happened.
Well, he was about to like cry at the side of the ring. It looked like.
Yeah, it's weird. There's this weird thing happening with him because, kayfabe doesn't really exist anymore, and so you're booing him, but also he's being cheered. In fact, one of my favorite signs that I saw in the crowd during that match was John Cena half booed, then, now, forever. It's like, yeah, that sounds right. But it's weird because they're all chanting "Thank you, Cena" as he's like leaving, and so I don't know, like if that was an improvisation moment for him of just acting like conflicted or something. But it was just, I would have rather it just ended, and just like kept that live experience for those people there, but for like story integrity as much as that matters in professional wrestling, like so.
And I'm also very curious as to who his next opponent is going to be, because I don't think I've talked to you about this yet. My big theory for how they're going to take the belt from him is that they're going to have Punk do it. And it's going to be a kind of reversal because Cena keeps pushing the whole, when I go, I'm taking this with me, which is what Punk was doing back in 2014 and did that whole thing, which is like they show that clip all the time. And so I could see him saying like, no, like have that even be like a big turn for him where he's like, no, I'm here now. This is my home. That belt stays here. Like let him have that kind of moment and like reverse. I feel
like you should write for this company or something. I would love that. I'm I'm a huge CM Punk guy, and I would love that.
And then you just have Punk put over whoever the next person they want to move up is. But I don't think it's gonna. I don't see Cena handing it to like that belt. I don't think could be handed to like a Gunter or a.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be used to like elevate somebody new. I think it's going to just kind of go parallel almost. Right.
Exactly.
Which I think makes sense. I will say also about this match, I very much enjoyed seeing Jamie Noble get an RKO, and Hurricane I think was also
Hurricane. Yep, Shane Helmsley. The dude in the blue suit looked like somebody, and I couldn't figure it out. He was RKO too. That whole RKO sequence. A+.
It was a lot of fun. But yeah, it was, and I also heel Cena. I'm glad that he is doing a heel shtick. And here's something I love about heel Cena is I love that his graphics and stuff is just like it looks like a default like oops. But I wish that I love that, but I wish like they went all the way with that and he had no music or or his gear changed other than like I guess he wears black sneakers now, which
I wish. There were rumors that he was going to go back to his old theme song, the Word Life. This is basic thugonomics, basic thug, and that didn't happen. And like, I get why they didn't, but I was like, oh, that wasn't fun. Why not? That's when he was a heel.
Yeah. But yeah, it was surprising to me that there wasn't like an extra beat at the end to, pop the crowd instead of sending them home booing.
Sure.
But I think maybe the feel goodness of the rest of the show was to sort of offset that, because I think everything else was a crowd pleaser for sure.
Stellar. Big time crowd pleaser. And they gave Orton a big showcase. I felt like it was like fun that it just became an Orton showcase. And the R-Truth moment. We got to bring it. Like that was I love R-Truth so much. That was so very funny. For a half second though, when he ran in, because I feel like usually stuff like that happens if someone is hurt.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out. I was like, is Cena? When R-Truth came in, I was like, oh no, did Cena get hurt? Like, because when he wrestled solo like 2 years ago or whatever it was, he like hurt both his shoulders. That's why he's having this retirement year, because he's like, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. R-Truth has not aged.
Not in the slightest.
Like, not a single bit.
I also, I'm just going to bring this up. Have you heard about, and I saw this because he was doing an interview with Chris Van Vliet, who I'll just often plug on this show, even though he has nothing to do with it. He's just a great interviewer and he talks to a lot of wrestlers. But R-Truth, like there's a picture of R-Truth with Tupac.
He looks the same.
Kind of, except he's got like a flat top. Like, because it's like 1993 or something like that, or 92. Wow. Yeah. And they just have a picture together, and he was explaining, because they used to do like these. He knew a lot of MCs because, as he said in the interview, he was messing around with that candy. So I'll let you interpret that. Wow. Like, yep, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. What would you grade this match then? What would you give it?
It's a tough one, because it's like barely even a match. You know what I mean? It's it's like 15 minutes and then a bunch of bullshit. And I mean bullshit like lovingly, like just like
sure.
You know, I would say it's a B minus.
Yeah, I was gonna go B plus. Like I think because you're right. It was. I will say Michael Cole mentions at one point, he's like, "Oh, this could be the last time these two ever face each other," and I was like, "Oh," and then I was kind of like, "Okay, I'm fine with that."
I was like, "Yeah, please."
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know if it's because I don't have this childhood nostalgia for it, and I'm sure that someone who is 12 at that time is probably like cursing me out right now. And I just unknowingly sound like the old fart in the room, which I'm fine with. But, you know, there is like a certain point where it's diminishing returns. And I think that was 2010.
Yeah.
You know, so I do really love both of these guys and everything that they've done in wrestling and also outside of wrestling. But I hope it made the 12-year-olds of 2008 very happy, is what I'll say.
Yeah, that's fair. I think too, it's like I'm not always someone has to be able to believably beat somebody person.
Yeah, me neither.
But like John Cena is not, like Randy Orton is on another level at this point in his career. It's unreal. Like, and I like that they had Cena cheat most of the time to win. It was not a clean victory at all. But it was it's just Randy Orton should be fighting like Jacob Fatu or something. Like it's somebody who's like ready to run. Speaking of which, dude,
great segue. He is incredible.
I remember right when it was like rumored that he was going to get signed, X-Pac, Sean Waltman himself, posted a video on like Twitter or something like that. That was like, you guys are all about to fall in love with Jacob Fatu. And it was like a clip of this big man doing just a bunch of clips of him doing the most insanely acrobatic things.
Just so charismatic and so intense.
Did you see that clip of him playing the piano that was going around?
No, is he good?
He can play.
Wow,
like he was putting notes together.
That makes me like him even more.
Yeah, like it's
so layered. But he did like a Samoan drop onto the barricade on someone,
onto Damian Priest. Yep.
Yeah, and like on a giant man.
Yep.
You know, it's crazy.
A lot of good spots in this match. Like a lot of it was Fatal 4-Way, United States Championship, LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre. Like just like four people who are all performing on another level right now. In LA Knight got an enormous pop. Also, I will say my kids watched the first three matches with me tonight, which was a lot of fun. And they had a blast with this one, even though one of them was a little scared of Damian Priest when he came out. Just a little. Penta, he was fine with. Damian Priest, he was
It's so interesting. I would argue Penta is much scarier.
much scarier. But just a blast, like a great fatal 4-way. And I'm glad that they did a fatal 4-way, even though they just did one at Mania. Like I was,
yeah, but it felt different too, though.
Yes,
it was like structured differently. There was constant movement. There was always something going on. There was nothing. There was no like dead space.
No,
which I really loved. It had, I think this match in particular had really great storytelling in terms of within the match itself, but also in like setting up more Priest and Drew stuff. I mean, of course, the spot off of the top of the box or whatever.
Yeah, threw a bunch of tables like again, huge guys, huge dudes. If you had told me again around the era we were just talking about, that Drew McIntyre would be like one of my faves in the next 15 years, I'd be like, huh, really? Yeah.
But he in the last few years, he's just really found a personality that is like really intense, but also very funny.
Oh yeah.
And he's just he can move like crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah. Incredible in the ring, so strong, and still like it's the like when he does that kick, like I like that his thighs are always enormous. So like when he does that kick, like he must know, because when he comes up to do that kick, it looks insane.
Yeah,
like it looks like he's gonna kick somebody's head off. It's so good.
It was great.
Good.
Just
like big
really,
meaty men slapping meat.
Yeah, it's one of the best. Just a really well put together match that even though like I'm not emotionally invested in any of these stories necessarily, but it was just right out of the gate. I think it was a great show opener too. It was just like really high energy and just like got the crowd into it. I will say my only complaint is the Solo interference. I think other than like seems to be setting up some Solo, Jacob Fatu is clearly like taking off in a way that Solo I don't think ever has, know, and so like setting that division up is exciting, but also Jeff Cobb, I guess we should mention.
Well, so apparently, he's been signed for like a month or two. Some people thought he was going to debut at Mania. And apparently he's like New Japan's like one of New Japan's like hottest stars over the last few years. So, but I will
because he's, older in terms of
he's like 37.
The age range of these folks. So,
and I will say too, it's funny. I feel bad that like poor Bronson Reed was in the like old bloodline against new bloodline match at Survivor Series and went so hard that he broke both of his ankles. And now he's just kind of had to sit on the sidelines. And now they brought like a Jacob Fatu Bronson Reed mix in. And I'm like,
it's a bummer.
They clearly like him. I like him too. But I don't know where he's going to fit when he gets back. But I did like Jacob just kind of looking at this new guy like, wait a minute. It looks like he's doing my thing. I did that before.
So this is very enjoyable, I think, and just really Jacob Fatu, I think, is gonna be big.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like a main event at WrestleMania. I'd like to see in the next couple of years is like a Gunter Jacob Fatu match, something like that.
Yeah,
like it's that's the kind of stuff in the video game I've been doing, like with a lot of these newer guys that I'm just so excited. Like, Joey, do you know who Obafemi is?
No, I don't.
Look up Obafemi. He's the NXT champion. That dude's huge and he's awesome. Like it's really. They got some good people coming up. There's also this new guy that just kind of looks like how Randy Orton used to look.
Interesting.
Energy and everything. It's real. Yeah. And he, I think, just earned a shot against Obafemi. And I think Obafemi will be moving up very soon. Like he's cool. He's a beast. It is really cool. And his name rules.
All right. What's your rating for the Fatal 4-Way?
I gotta give it an A. It's an A from me.
Me too.
Like yeah. All I'll say is I'm gonna be repeating myself a lot tonight. But so next up, Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch, women's intercontinental title match. Incredible match. There were two. I love that the two of the best matches of the night were just a seasoned vet putting over a young talent.
Yeah.
That was really exciting.
I think this one in particular just like was a really great underdog kind of match. That just really let Lyra Valkyria shine and just like really sold that she, is in the big leagues. And I really love this match.
Yeah, I liked it a lot too. Very physical, like very technical, which is always fun to watch.
Yeah.
And then also like Becky Lynch sells so well, like that she just put over Lyra Valkyria like by leaps and bounds. Like it felt like she was doing extra to make her look good. And I go ahead.
I was just gonna comment on the superplex off the top rope there.
Yeah, buddy. Yep.
So rad.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And I even liked when it looked like she was almost doing like a reverse Boston Crab, and then she grabbed Becky, and she was just like swinging her. Like it was just,
it was great. Just a lot of great submissions, a lot of great reversals, and like schoolboy pins and stuff like that. I really love the technical side of it, but I also here's something I love in wrestling. Period, is family taunts. When Becky was like taunting Lyra's fiance or whatever.
Yep.
Just like it always works. It's always fantastic.
If I may, because I said this to Joy because she came in later on, is that something that I always love in wrestling that we got tonight that this might actually it'll be a B++ now, is that when a referee is out and they don't send another referee right away, but then like 5 minutes later, a referee is just hauling ass down the ring to do it and slides in the ring and goes 1, 2, and then it's still a 2 count. That is
classic.
That is always great. Always.
And
great.
actually, here's something that bumps that Cena match up to a B even is in one of those moments when he like just points, he just looks at the camera and does this. Like the ref is down and he's just like, shh. It's like, that's great. Yep. Excellent.
Real good. But yeah, so Lyra Valkyria, like there was also like the slapping moment where first Becky's just kind of like pushing her and then Lyra slaps her and then she slaps her back, and just like they're like, just to have them go toe to toe, like, because it's you start with a 4-way match and then it was all singles matches the rest of the night. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I thought, especially one of them, I thought was going to be way worse than it was for reasons I will get into in a moment that don't even have to do with the wrestlers themselves. Yeah. But this one, I wasn't like surprised, but it was definitely, I was like, man, they let them cook, as the children say. Like it was real good.
It was a great match. Also, I have to give a shout out to Bad News Barrett, who I've loved since Nexus, but
same.
He's great on commentary, and he had a great line that was like, Michael Cole said something about like, if Lyra wins this match, it's not gonna, I hope you say that it's not a fluke or something. And Barrett goes, if she does it in a fluky way, I certainly will. It's just some really, really good stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty great. What do you give this one?
This one gets an A.
Yeah, same. Yep.
I love this match.
Yep.
What's next?
And there's nobody out here that can do anything.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Ryan Sprague here from Somewhere in the Ring, and Andrew and I just wrapped an awesome episode of the podcast. We can't wait to share it with you soon, but before we do that, we need your help. We need your ratings and reviews, specifically on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, the 2 largest platforms in the world to get podcasts. Now, we are a small independent podcast, and we are going up against some pretty big hitters in the wrestling world. So in order to get featured, in order for us to find new listeners and gain visibility, we need your help. And that starts with a rating and a review over on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. It takes just a couple moments, but it means the world of difference to us. So, from Andrew and I, thank you so much for your unwavering support. We can't wait to keep doing the show, and we hope you will consider a rating and review for us somewhere in the ring.
Next up, we got Dirty Dom Mysterio against Penta. I do this all, and it's just so fun. It's so cool. He's the best.
I gotta say, like, it's wild to see. Yeah, I liked Penta and Rey Fenix in AEW, and Penta would do the same stuff, and like it was over. But seeing him do it on like the WWE scale is just like, I'm so happy for you, dude.
Because he is like waxed poetic about how he just always wanted to wrestle in the WWE. Like it's always much more fun when they're just like this. I've always wanted this, and now I have it, and I'm amazing. Like,
that's cool.
He's so good. He's so good.
Two things I want to start out saying about this match. One, fantastic sign when Penta was coming out that said Dom is the first level boss. Excellent, A+. And also my wife Amanda was watching with me, and she said Dirty Dom looks like a cashier I would avoid. Which I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
And what's even better, I know that MJF exists. I know that there are people like Seth Rollins doing really well right now. Dominic Mysterio is the best heel currently working in the business.
For sure, and has been for a couple of years now, I would say.
Like it is but he's even like, now that he's got the belt, like he's progressed to another level. Like he's just good. Like interviews, everything. He's always in character. He's always being a jerk. Like it is it's unreal. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Like I would be nervous. No, there's no way. If Rey Mysterio died tomorrow, I don't know if Dom would go to his funeral just to keep
it up. Yeah, and that's something I love about MJF too, is he's like always a dick, and just like that is so rare now that that sort of like commitment exists, and Dom is one of those people who is just does it all the time, and it's so fantastic. But now, like you said, he has the belt, and he's not just talking; he's like doing great work. Like that suicide dive into a DDT, dude.
Crazy.
And I think of course Penta has a lot to do with that, like of helping that momentum happen. But just like the two of them together just made magic in that moment for sure.
Yeah, no, it's incredible, and it because I remember Penta's first match against Chad Gable is one of the best matches of the year so far, and he's just good at making other people look good. And I almost like I feel like Dom has gotten considerably better in the ring, even with just the last year, even with just the last like 3 months. Like he keeps, you can tell he is still learning and growing, and I think he's 26, something like that, 27. We've basically been watching him learn how to wrestle. But man, he was again on another level tonight, like doing stuff so well and so clean and selling so well, and it just looked great. That suicide dive, I was like, everybody pay attention. Like, look what just happened.
And everyone's like, yeah, cool. That was great. The destroyer on the apron was great. I also really loved that he used Oblivion, Liv Morgan's move.
Oh yes, yeah. And again, Michael Cole right there in the pocket, being like, "Oh, Liv Morgan's off filming a movie right now, but he's still thinking about her, so he did that move." I was like, "You go, Michael Cole." But I really wish he would have said how it is like she's specifically in a Bad Lieutenant spinoff, or like a Bad Lieutenant movie.
What?
Yes, she's there's like another Bad Lieutenant movie that's coming out. I don't know who, and the director is somebody. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Big feature film.
Huh?
A big feature film.
Yeah. It even said Liv Morgan movie 2025. Big Hollywood movie. Oh yeah, Bad Lieutenant Tokyo from Japanese director Takashi Miike. M-I-I-K.
It's a movie?
Yes.
Wow.
But do you know the other Bad Lieutenants?
I didn't watch it, no.
Okay, they're messed up. The first one's Harvey Keitel, and then the second one was Nick Cage, and it's just like the second one is kind of like a remake, but more of like a spiritual remake.
Yeah.
But it's that's a bad lieutenant. Let me just say that.
Is she the titular Bad Lieutenant?
I don't believe so. No, I think it's so. I don't know what's gonna happen to her in this movie.
You know what? Good for her. Her cameo in the Chucky show was great. So
fun. Yep. No, I think the lead actor is Shun Ogiri, and then also Lily James. But yeah,
interesting.
Oh, and I guess this guy directed The Audition. I don't know if he had directed Audition. It's gonna be a messed up movie.
Wow,
it's gonna be a messed up movie.
What a recipe.
Yeah.
Anyway, this match, great. No offense, JD McDonough, but I just don't. Does nothing for me. Like I feel like they've tried to make him happen, and he's talented, but just like seems like a charisma suck to me.
He's one of those guys who I also don't love what they have him do. But every now and then I'll see clips and stuff like that where I'm like, oh yeah, he does these big back body drops where people flip him in the air and he like goes way up high, and he talks about that a lot. And he also he like almost died doing a spot a few months ago. Like he went against a table, and if I remember correctly, like he got like a broken rib, and there was maybe some like they thought like his lungs might have been damaged or something like that. It was bad. It was bad. And you can even tell watching it, like, oh, he did not hit that. And those new tables, as we saw tonight, and we've seen already, like they don't give. Randy kind of like going and kicking the other part to get to fall over.
Oh my god, that was one of my favorite moments where after the announcer table fell in that match, like after Cena bounced off of it, and there was like the end piece was just like on the ground, and Randy like tried to move it, but it was too heavy.
Yeah,
it's like, oh shit, if he can't move it, no one can.
So good. So yeah, to have that table stuff. Oh wait, no, we were talking about Penta and Dom.
Yeah.
All those spots were good. They were having fun, and that's what it was. JD McDonough. The tables don't give. That's where I was like, let me work backwards until I get there. So
just Judgment Day in general, I think.
I'm always I'm like hashtag free Carlito. I think I want better things. I want Carlito to. He's so great. He is such a treasure. I'm so glad he's back, and I want him to be doing other things.
But I also feel like he's probably like that. Seems like probably a pretty sweet position to be in.
Oh, absolutely. He's on
like
TV all the time, and he barely has to wrestle.
Yeah. So I'm sure he's like, no, this is cool.
Yeah. Caribbean cool, if you will. But yeah, I like all that was kind of like meh, but I liked that Finn Balor I like that they're turning him into the Dom of the group. Like the one that keeps screwing up that nobody likes. Like that's kind of a fun switch. And we got to see our boy El Grande Americano, which which means I get to say El Grande Americano, and that's always a good time.
So stupid. So that feels like something from 2006, and like I can't tell. Like it feels very offensive, and it is very offensive. But I think it's done in a way that like they know that it's very offensive, and we're supposed to, like. Whereas in the past they would be doing offensive things and not realizing that they were doing offensive things. Right. I don't know if that makes it okay, but.
I think it did. Like, I think, for instance, when he wrestled at Mania, he had like a super professional, like a legit mariachi band, like leading him in, and they were all wearing and like they were. I think what is in 20 years ago, it would have been the butt of the joke. It would have been
Right.
like offensive how bad they're getting what this
Yeah.
is. Like they would have leaned into the stereotypes and instead they're like, no, we are taking this super seriously.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like have a legit mask and costume. This is a legitimate like mariachi band bringing him out. Like I think
that's a
that
good point.
aspect of it is what makes it tolerable, is that
Yeah.
they're not making the joke is that it's
He's an
probably
idiot.
Chad Gable, and they keep denying that it's Chad Gable. Like
Right.
that's what they lean into as being the joke, and I think that's what makes it work more.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
But this match overall, great. Not surprised that won in the way that he did. I love a good ref ejection moment, and this one was really strong.
Yeah.
The crowd was super into it, which is a lot of fun.
I was like, that man is selling it to the rafters. Like he is.
Listen, across the board, a lot of great ref work. This
Yes,
evening,
even though apparently there were only 2 in the building. Everybody else is at catering, just not paying attention.
Good stuff. This is an A from me.
It's an A+ for me. Match
Oh
of the
wow,
night.
match of the night.
Dom is because I already know that Penta is great. Penta is like just phenomenal. And the tag division is only once him and Ray Phoenix get back, like finally team up, it's like them. You've got Faxium, you've got the Street Profits, you've just Pretty Deadly has been good. DIY, like the tag division is so strong right now, and they're about to make it even stronger, which is so cool.
Yeah. I will say that suicide dive to DDT move of the night for sure.
Dude, it's so clean too.
That's
so
the highlight of the slam of the night presented.
The Slim Jim break of the night, their snap of the night.
For sure, definitely.
So I already knew he was going to be good, and Dom did what everybody seems to do so far, which is like, oh, I got booked against Penta, I'm going to step it up.
Yeah.
And so I think that made it the match of the night for me. And awesome. I will say the next one is almost made match of the night because of what didn't happen. We'll get into that in a sec.
Okay, hit me with it.
Pat McAfee, Gunther. Okay, and I will say 2 things right off the bat, and this is not to body shame, even though I saw a clip the other day of Cody Rhodes saying that you should absolutely body shame wrestlers, which I thought was interesting. He was like, "That's the whole thing. That's the show. Is like we're supposed to look great. We're getting paid all this money, and we look like yes, you can body shame wrestlers." And I was like, "Bro, Sheamus just got so harassed online recently. That's a
oh my god."
But all that to say, I thought Pat McAfee looked great. And the last couple times he has wrestled, he has looked out of shape. And I think something that almost immediately brought this match to a higher level than I thought it was going to be is that not only was he taking it seriously, he looked like he had put some work in getting to this point.
Yeah. I agree.
Which I appreciated. Yeah.
I will say another quote from Amanda, my wife, when McAfee took his shirt off, she said nothing about his body, but she said, "Did he get that white belt from Hot Topic in 2002? What's the deal?" Again, she's the best. I appreciated it. Generally speaking, I really don't like these kinds of matches where it's, Michael Cole's been in them, or,
sure,
freaking Jay Leno or whatever, those sort of gimmick.
Yeah.
This isn't quite at that. This is not like a celebrity match. This is
no.
It's a little bit different. He's wrestled before. Yep. He's an athlete. Blah blah blah. He's in the company, but it still just kind of feels like it's filling space. But I will say, I think if one of these matches has to happen, I'm glad it's with Gunther.
Yeah, sure.
He could wrestle. He's like one of those guys who could wrestle a broom and make it look good. So
yeah. I will say, I have twin sons, as you are aware, and one of them is darker skinned and one of them is fairer skinned. And the fairer skinned one, if he is outside for like they play t-ball, and they were playing a game where if it gets even a little bit hotter, cheeks bright red, like immediately, like they are just super bright red. And that's all I could think when I was watching Pat McAfee tonight. Like I was like, ah, my little boy. Like he just keeps getting like any little touch on him, like just bright red all over his body.
He looked like he had his football pads on, but it was just like his red, like chop skin. That was brutal.
Yep. So that was a lot of fun. But I
also like that his like big move is a punt.
Yeah,
which I think is very funny.
I was thinking this,
and
all the kicks. Anytime he did a kick, I turned into the Leo meme. I was like, whoa, yeah. That's what he does.
And Gunther sold those, but like not really anything else, which I liked.
No. Yep. I think what made this match was Michael Cole.
For sure. Yeah, this is the match where I wrote give Cole an Emmy.
Yeah.
Not only in his just like commentary, but also like his little introduction to the match. It's like, folks, throughout my career, I've always tried to call things down the middle, but this is the first time I'm not going to be able to be. I'm going to have bias, and I'm rooting for Pat McAfee, my bud, or whatever he was saying, and it was
good,
just so funny.
Yep.
And then getting involved and all of that stuff was a lot of fun.
Yeah, like all that worked, and then something. So the reason I'm the happiest with how this match turned out is that the rumor online, and there were plenty of rumors about what might happen tonight. Even in the last couple of days, there was a rumor that Alexa Bliss might pop up on SmackDown last night, and she did. There was a rumor that Jeff Cobb was going to debut tonight, and he did. The other rumor was that this match was going to end with Goldberg assisting Pat McAfee to set up a match.
Speaking of William Goldberg?
Yes. Which I would have been severely disappointing. Like
the rumor was that he was gonna interfere to set up a match with McAfee.
No, sorry, with Gunther. With Gunther. So the biggest rumor right now, and this could still potentially happen, is that Goldberg will be coming back soon for a retirement match, which he does not deserve. And it will be against Gunther, someone he does not deserve to wrestle. And I just like, it's impossible for me to even pretend to like, oh, that might be okay. It won't. It'll be bad. It'll be a bad match. He makes other people worse.
I do think that is true.
I think their ability, Gunther's ability to make people look good, and Goldberg's ability to make people look bad would cancel each other out, and then we would be left solely with their wrestling abilities. So we would have one person who can wrestle and one person who can hit really hard. Like that's it. Like it's just it. Ugh. Like and here's the thing. I won't even say that that's like an all-time Goldberg. I can't lie and act like Goldberg wasn't one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. But it's been like, talk about diminishing returns. Like it's just, he's not the same person anymore. And I'm still one of the first episodes we ever did of this podcast. I had like a quote unquote rant about like, he was talking trash about Asuka.
Oh,
Asuka,
really?
one of the best wrestlers working, because they had I guess she broke his undefeated streak or something. And he was like, then they had a girl broke my undefeated streak, some girl wrestler, and I was like, how dare you?
What's hilarious about that is like, if it was a legit fight, I bet she would kick the shit out of him, like no problem.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Let alone wrestling. So the lack of that rumor coming true elevated this match for you, is what you're saying.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I just thought McAfee was going to win. And I was pretty happy that they didn't have that happen. I
really genuinely liked Gunther like giving him his little
hat tip. Yep. Because it was
not a handshake, but like, challenged him in a way that he did not expect. And that coming from Gunther, who like would not do that for anyone, I think actually goes a long way to sort of increase McAfee's like wrestling character.
I agree. And it felt, everything he did felt earnest, and like him being winded, it just felt like it's like, no, this was like Rocky 1 instead of Rocky 4. Like it's just like, oh, he's just not at this level yet, and he shouldn't be. And they didn't try to make him look like he was. And I think that's what kind of made it work, is it wasn't Gunther trying to put him over. It was just like, okay, if we're going to do this, this is how it would go.
Right. And adding like an extra layer of drama with Michael Cole. And him just being like, just pin him, just put him out of his misery or whatever. And
the match. Oh,
I love that.
That was great.
And then that Cole's pleads to end the match also led to another great Bad News Barrett quote about Gunther, in which he said, Gunther's mind is a compassion-free zone. And it's like, yes, put that on his tombstone.
Oh,
incredible.
Dude.
Great character summation by Bad News Barrett.
Yeah. You could tell it, like, Pat McAfee hasn't had the best, I won't say luck. My man is in a lot of trouble outside of the WWE world. And even though this felt like you could tell he was doing well, because I set that aside at a certain point. And I was like, you know what? I always just like it when someone has clearly put in the work when they're about to step into a ring, or when they step into a ring. And there are plenty of times when people get those opportunities and they haven't put in the work, and it looks like McAfee has been bouncing around a ring for a couple of weeks now trying to get ready. So
yeah. And I would say in the sort of modern era, I mean, these sort of gimmick matches are certainly no new thing, but particularly in the last 10 years or so, I feel like if someone who's out, Bad Bunny, for example, they have sort of...
That's a great match, though.
What?
The Bad Bunny Damian Priest match.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
oh, yeah.
In the past, someone like coming from outside entertainment and getting in the ring, it's usually hit or miss. But I feel like if WWE is doing it, it's typically they're making sure that whoever is doing it has some training of like more significant than just, let's make sure the professionals carry you through. Like they give them a little bit extra, it feels like.
And then every now and then you get a Snooki, or who has wrestled at WrestleMania. Snooki has wrestled more matches at WrestleMania than I have, and maybe as many as D'Lo Brown. Now that I'm thinking about it,
but still, that was what a long time ago, and I feel like that's kind of how it.
Now I want to look it up. I think that was within the last 10 years.
There's no way. That was in at least 2015. There's no way.
I'm so excited. But I agree with you. Like, to be very clear, I think you're right. But 2011. 2011. That's fair. I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
I'll give it
even
to you.
That feels too late. Which also tracks for WWE and their,
that is 2011. That's like the Raw guest host era. That's like,
that was
all right. Here's Jeremy Piven, everybody.
That was rough. Those were some rough years.
Yep. But then every now and then you get to see a clip of like Hugh Jackman beating up Damian Sandow, who's dressed up like Magneto. Like there's still that kind of stuff that's out there.
I do remember enjoying Pee-wee and also Bob Barker. So, there's that kind of stuff.
Pee-wee. That's so
but overall, I would say Gunther McAfee B+.
Yep, same.
There was a moment like there's wrestling ability, but just for what it was very enjoyable.
Like there's a moment where McAfee tried to hop over the ropes and he clipped his foot and he like fell, and I was like, and then like I was starting to laugh, and then he hopped right back up and kept going. And I was like, hey,
also,
you know what?
Again, Cole and Barrett.
Yes.
They're just like, and I love that. I think this is something too that they have started to embrace more, is when there's a mess up like that, or the crowd is like not reacting the way that they thought or intended, like they just address it and turn it into like part of the story that they're telling, which they didn't always do that in the Vince era, and it just felt stupid. and now it just feels like more authentic, which I really enjoy.
I agree. And it worked, and it was fun. I think overall, like I something you said at the top about the storytelling being strong across every match.
Yeah.
Is just 100% true. Maybe not as much in the last match, which I would agree with. That was just more of a like, hey, you remember this, right?
Yeah.
But I still had fun with it, but it was still the other ones. I was like, this was just a good pay-per-view. Like it was.
And then all the people I assume were helpful in putting together these matches, like Hurricane Helms and Jamie Noble, all just got crushed at the end, so they got their due too.
Yeah. It was pretty
Good
great
stuff.
Yeah. So what do you give the night overall?
Listen, I ordered some eggplant parm. I hung out with my wife and our 2 cats and our dog on the couch in my cozy pants. Get to talk to a best bud about wrestling on a Saturday night. Yeah. A+.
Bud, you know what? Right there with you. A+. I got to watch some of the matches with my boys while also having a computer on like our little ottoman in the living room that had the Texas Rangers game on, and they won 8-2. So that was fantastic.
There you go.
And they got to play T-ball this morning, and I'm an assistant coach, and we had friends come visit from Queens. They came from Queens to Jersey City to watch my 2 sweet little boys play T-ball. And we hung out, had pizza for lunch, and then my wife came home, so I got to watch like the first half of it with the boys, and the second half with my wife. So I'm right there with it. A+. Great day. Saturday. Great day.
Excellent. A+.
But what you got going on? What's coming down the pipeline? I want to say, because I feel like this is a fun thing that I don't always get to say on a podcast, but I've heard other people say on a podcast. You've got some really cool stuff coming up that we cannot talk about. But
that is true.
That, what else is going on?
My book co-created with Sean Von Gorman, who's also been on this show talking about, I think it was WrestleMania 6 or 5. It's called The Pedestrian. It is on sale now wherever you get your comics or your books. Mm-hmm. You can get the single issue, right so you can get the trade paperback.
I gotta get the trade.
You do. You got a hookup. I can send you one.
Oh no, that's not how it works.
So yeah, just check out The Pedestrian, and I would really super appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, it's great. Read it, and especially if you have kids, because now whenever we're crossing the street, I'm like, all right, wait for The Pedestrian, and every now and then I haven't told you that they'll be like, yeah, take that clutch if we make it before the hand shows up. They made it, and that is a little game that they've made themselves.
That is amazing.
As always, go to Somewhere in the Ring or patreon.com/Somewhere in the Ring. Check us out on YouTube because we're growing fast. You may be already watching this on YouTube. We're growing fast. Come hang out. It's a lot of fun over there, and there will be new stuff since I got this new fancy mic over here. And look for my short horror film Pay the Tithe on Vimeo. I got Chemistry Test also on YouTube. Just type Chemistry Test short film. You'll find it. I'm out there. And my writing is at pajiba.com. Most of it anyway, or a good amount. So I'm around. Joey, you know the deal. Around here, we like to ask people, our guests, to ring the bell to send us home. So if you could please, whatever that means to you.
Ding, ding, ding.
Woo!